This is part 3 of What's the Deal with King Saul Trying to Kill David.
Now this week we'll be looking into 1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 1 through 21. So after David finishes chatting up with Saul, well, him and Saul's son Jonathan, they become super tight. I mean, like they were literally brothers for life. Jonathan is all about David and loved him just as much as he loved himself. Well, let's look a little closer at Jonathan and David becoming good friends. Jonathan was a lot like David. They were approximately the same age, although Jonathan was probably, 5 years older. But they both were bold. They were both men of great trust in God, and both were men of action. Most of all, both had a real relationship with God. Now, at the same time, Jonathan and David were different. Jonathan was the firstborn son of a king. That's in 1 Chronicles 9:39. And David, well, he was the lastborn son of a farmer. Now this made Jonathan more than a prince. He was a crown prince. By everyone's expectations, Jonathan would be the next king of Israel. Now I'm telling you, there's a radical commitment that didn't come without a hefty price. And just around the corner, I'll spill the beans on that. So you just hold your horses for now. So what's the deal with old John and Dave? But what's wild is that they formed this tight bond, this friendship, that was stronger than any force out there. Stronger than jealousy, envy, even ambition. And it was the power of faith and believing in God's will that created this bond between these two men. Saul was also into David, so much so that he refused to let him go home to his people. Now that's some serious affections going on right there. Now Jonathan and David, well, they made this pact because, well, they were practically soulmates. Now Jonathan stripped off his fancy clothes and gave them to David. And get this, he even gave him his sword, his bow, and his belt. Talk about true friendship, Ryan. What's up with that? When Johnny had his bud Dave, his fancy robe and his badass armor, well, he's straight up telling Dave, my brother, you're going to be the next king of Israel. You wear this outfit. Rock this gear like a true crown prince. Because guess what? God's got his hand on you, my friend. And these things, well, they rightfully belong to you. Now, what made Jonathan so sure about all this? Well, here's the deal. Jonathan, being all devout and surrendered to the big man upstairs, well, he could totally see that the Lord's hand was upon David. And he had some kind of divine insight into David's future. And he was totally cool with it, setting aside his own ambitions to give honor to God's choice. Now just think about it. Think about the level of faith and selflessness that Jonathan must have had to put aside his own desires in order to support his friend's destiny. That's pretty humbling and inspiring, if you ask me. Now this is a great reminder to all of us that sometimes we got to step back and let others shine. Sometimes we got to embrace the fact that somebody else may be destined for greatness, even if it means we might not get what we want. Now, Jonathan's actions, it teaches us the importance of surrendering to something greater or having faith in God's plan, even when it doesn't align with our own. All right, well, that's my 2 cents worth. How about you and I? We make a pact to keep an eye out for those moments where we can honor the choices of others and show some serious faith in something bigger than ourselves. Saul was like, man, this dude needs a promotion. And bam, David gets a high rank in the army. But then things got a little crazy. When David came back after defeating the Philistines, well, the ladies of Israel were blowing up about Saul's spot. They were singing and dancing, and their tune was Saul killed thousands, but David killed tens of thousands. Now, Saul's pride, he was not having it. He got pissed, thinking they're giving David all the credit. What's left for me? Is he going to steal my kingdom too? From that point on, Saul was keeping his eye locked on David everywhere he went. Now get this, the very next thing, well, an evil spirit from God invaded Saul, and he was in his crib prophesying like usual. And guess who was chilling in the background? That's right, David jamming on his lyre. Saul notes him, and boy, he had a freaking spear in his hand, and he hurled it, saying to himself, I'll pin David to that wall. But David eluded him twice.
Now, we got to talk about this Saul and this whole distressing spirit situation. Now, let me make one thing crystal clear from the get-go. The spirit didn't straight up force Saul to do anything, okay? It just gave him a little nudge, you know. That evil spirit was just kind of whispering in Saul's ear. Throw that spirit at that fell right there. But Saul had a choice. He could have said, no, I'm good. Or he could have been like, yeah, let's do this. And well, he chooses to give that spear a good old heave-ho.
Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David, but had departed from Saul. So he sent David away from him and gave him a command over 1,000 men. And David led the troops in their campaigns. In everything he did, he had great success because the Lord was with him. When Saul saw how successful he was, well, he became even more afraid of him. But all of Israel and Judah loved him because he led them successfully in their campaigns. Crazy stuff, I know. But hey, that's the way the story goes. All right, so now picture this. Saul the king says to David, hey, I got this older daughter named Merab, and I'm willing to let you marry her. But here's the catch, my friend. You got to serve me fearlessly and fight the Lord's battles. The funny thing is, well, Saul was secretly hoping that by sending David out there, the Philistines would take him down. And so he wouldn't have to personally be involved. Pretty cunning move, huh? Now that's all in Samuel 18. Do you want to check it out? Check it out for yourself. David, just this old regular guy, was asked to become the king's son-in-law. But he was like, whoa, take a deep breath. Who am I? I'm just an average Joe with a normal family. Why would I get this fancy title? So Saul, he doesn't get pissy on account of David's rejection of his daughter. But then David started dating Michal, another one of Saul's daughters. When Saul found out about their relationship, well, he was actually happy about it. Saul thought he had a genius plan, though he figured if David married Michal, it would trap him, well, or something of that like. So Saul goes to David and says, hey, you still have a chance to become my son-in-law. Now don't screw it up this time. But that's where we're going to leave off. Will David become Saul's son-in-law? Does he really want to? You'll have to tune in next week to get those answers.
Okay, so our good buddy Dave, well, he goes through a ton of tough challenges, right? But guess what? Those trials he faces actually help him become even better and more successful in the future. It's like preparation for greatness. Now let me tell you, the Lord works in a similar way. He doesn't just hand us the keys to the kingdom straight away. No, he takes us on this wild journey filled with ups and downs. You know, we call them trials and tribulations. And you know what? He does it for a reason. See, going through all that rough stuff, well, that actually molds us into the kind of people who can handle the ultimate glory. It's like a training program. By experiencing all these trials, we become stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the awesomeness that's waiting for us. So what's the bottom line here? Just like our buddy Dave, the Lord knows what he's doing. He wants to make sure we are all prepared for the incredible things that lie ahead. It's like saying no pain, no gain, right? The harder the journey, the sweeter the destination. So don't get discouraged when the road gets bumpy and the trials start piling up. Embrace them, my friend, because they're stepping stones to something truly glorious. The Lord's got a plan, and trust me, it's going to be pretty amazing. So let's just buckle down and hold on tight and get ready to continue those tribulations on our way to greatness. And until next week, may God bless you, keep you safe.